Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
My name is Ethan. I'm 42 years old, and my wife Olivia is 40. We have an adorable 8-year-old son. As for the other couple in this story, Alex is 44 and Natalie is 43. They also have a 10-year-old son. Career-wise, I work as a real estate agent with an unconventional schedule that gives me weekdays off. Olivia works as an accountant with a standard Monday to Friday schedule, enjoying her weekends at home. This pattern of mismatched free time has simply become our way of life as we've crossed the 10-year mark in our marriage. Surprisingly, despite seeing each other less than most couples, our passion hasn't faded one bit. In fact, because our time together is limited, we've learned to treasure every moment, maintaining an intense connection whenever we're together. Our desire for each other has only grown stronger with time. Today was no exception. I got home earlier than usual to find our son already fast asleep. As I walked through the living room toward our bedroom, Olivia caught my eye with that look that still makes my heart race like we're on our first date. Those quiet moments after our child falls asleep are always magical. In the soft glow of our bedroom lights, Olivia leaned in and whispered in my ear. "Ethan, I missed you so much today," she murmured, her voice low and sultry. "I missed you too, all day," I replied, my voice deepening instinctively. Our heartbeats pulsed through the thin silk of our pajamas. My heart was pounding like a teenager's. The darkness of our bedroom was filled only with our breathing and the gentle moonlight streaming through the window. Suddenly, we heard a faint creaking from our son's bed in the next room. We both froze instantly, like deer caught in headlights. We held our breath and listened intently, on high alert. "Did he hear us?" Olivia whispered, her voice trembling. Looking up at me with those big doe eyes, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "It's okay, he's just shifting in his sleep," I whispered reassuringly into her ear while biting my lip gently. I carefully embraced her again, as if she were made of delicate porcelain. "Can you stay quiet?" I teased in a whisper, and Olivia nodded slightly, burying her face against my chest. The subtle scent of her shampoo wafted through her soft hair. Feeling each other's warm breath, we moved slowly, softly, like we were dancing to silent music. Olivia bit her lip hard to keep from making noise, her fingers digging into my back. Her nails left slight marks on my skin. Even the quiet rustling of the sheets seemed thunderous in that moment. "Your effort to stay quiet makes you even more beautiful," I whispered, gently nibbling her earlobe. "I love you." Olivia's voice was barely audible. "You're so adorably shy right now." I kissed the sensitive spot behind her ear as I spoke. "So damn cute." My passion ignited at the sound of Olivia's trembling voice as she whispered with eyes glistening in the dark. In that perfect moment, it felt like we were the only two people in the universe. "Hey, do you think we can stay like this forever?" That innocent question made my heart swell. It was a moment of pure bliss, as if time had completely stopped. The next morning, in our sunny kitchen, our son was spreading jam on his toast when he suddenly looked up with innocent curiosity. "Was someone singing last night?" I heard weird noises. Olivia, who had just taken a sip of coffee, nearly choked at our son's unexpected question. "Singing? What?" I tried to keep my cool, but I could feel my face burning. Our eyes met briefly before I quickly looked away. "Yeah, I heard some strange sounds." Olivia's face was turning redder by the second. "Oh, that was just the TV. Mom was watching a show late and forgot to turn down the volume. Sorry about that." But it sounded like Mom's voice. "Oh, really? Wait, I get it. Mom was singing along with the TV show. Like that karaoke thing everyone's doing now." "Yes, exactly. Karaoke practice. We're planning to go to karaoke next month with Dad. But I heard weird lyrics in Mom's song, like harder, there, it hurts, don't stop. Do normal songs have words like that?" And Mom kept making these long ah sounds. What kind of song was that? None of my friends listened to music with lyrics like that. Olivia and I exchanged panicked glances, desperately fighting back laughter despite our embarrassment. Hey, isn't breakfast really good today? Yes. Would you like some more? We have fresh omelets too. As we hastily changed the subject, our son gave us a confused look, but thankfully returned his attention to breakfast. After dropping our son off at school, when we were alone in the kitchen, Olivia asked with a blush, "He definitely heard us, didn't he?" as she playfully smacked my arm. Sorry about that, but you were just too adorable. We'll need to be more careful next time. Looking at my wife smiling with that perfect mix of embarrassment and lovability, I felt completely content. One random weekday afternoon, while scrolling through my phone in our sun-drenched living room, my eyes caught on an advertisement banner. Do people actually connect through apps like this? Almost without thinking, I downloaded the app. I told myself it was just to kill time. In the quiet of our empty house, with Olivia at work and our son at school, I started creating a profile, feeling both curious and slightly nervous about what I was doing. I didn't upload any photos, just wrote a basic introduction. Not long after, I heard the familiar sound of our front door opening followed by, "I'm home." That evening, watching Olivia go about her normal routine, I felt an unexpected pang of guilt. But I quickly reassured myself. I haven't actually done anything wrong. I just downloaded an app. With that thought, I settled back into our regular evening routine. A month flew by, and I found myself chatting with more people through the app than I'd anticipated. Most conversations were one-offs that went nowhere, but occasionally I'd have some interesting discussions. Then one day, I stumbled across a couple's profile. Their bio read, "We're a couple looking for new connections. We value our relationship while exploring something different." Their profile picture showed them smiling warmly at each other. For some reason I can't quite explain, I had this gut feeling that there might be something special about this couple. After hesitating for a few minutes, I worked up the courage to send them a message. "Hello there. I'm reaching out after seeing your profile." To my surprise, they responded almost immediately. "Hello to you too. Could you tell us a bit about yourselves as a couple?" I appreciated their straightforward approach. After thinking it over, I replied, "I've been married to my wife Olivia for 10 years. We have an 8-year-old son. I'd prefer to discuss more details in a more comfortable setting." Their response came quickly. "We understand. We've been married for 12 years and have a 10-year-old son. It's nice to find these commonalities." Then another message appeared. "This is Alex. To be completely honest, we were pretty nervous when we first started this journey. But we decided to explore this because we wanted to deepen our connection with each other." I responded honestly, "Actually, I haven't mentioned any of this to my wife yet. I'm still trying to figure out the right approach." They replied promptly, "You should move forward very carefully. Your wife's feelings and comfort should be your absolute priority. There's no need to rush anything." Then another message came through, this time from Alex's wife. "Hi, I'm Natalie. I was really hesitant at first too, but I think what made it possible was how my husband always put my feelings first. It's completely fine to take things slow." I asked them, "How should I approach this conversation with my wife? I don't want to hurt her in any way." Their answer was refreshingly straightforward. First, be clear about how precious your relationship with your wife is. That needs to come across unmistakably. Our schedules might not match up, but that's exactly why we treasure the moments we do have together. I replied honestly. I think the key is making sure we show how much we value each other whenever we can. We need to make each other feel special in every interaction. I found myself nodding as Alex shared his heartfelt perspective. For us, it was never about filling some gap in our relationship. We were actually looking to understand each other on an even deeper level. We wanted to see new sides of each other through fresh experiences. When Natalie said this, my pulse quickened unexpectedly. It was as if she had put into words thoughts I'd been having for quite some time. I want that too, to know more about Olivia's everyday world. I want to see new expressions on her face. We've been married for 10 years, but I'm sure there are still sides of her I haven't yet discovered. After opening up about my genuine feelings, both Alex and Natalie responded with warm, understanding smiles. "We completely get that. There's absolutely no rush. This journey is only possible because of the trust you share." And through this process, your connection with each other can actually grow even stronger. As our conversation continued, my conviction grew. What had started as mere curiosity had evolved into a genuine belief that this experience could actually strengthen my bond with Olivia. The possibility that this couple might become part of our journey seemed increasingly real. That evening, I decided it was time for a face-to-face conversation with Olivia. As was our ritual, we would have our private time after our son was sound asleep. We managed to get him to bed early tonight, Olivia whispered, her head resting comfortably against my chest. The delicate scent of her shampoo drifted up from her soft hair. That familiar fragrance felt especially meaningful tonight. Olivia, I said, gently holding her while searching for the right words. I could feel the warmth of her body against mine. You're being extra sweet, she murmured, her whispered words in my ear making my heart ache with tenderness. In that moment, I wanted to preserve this precious feeling forever. I need to tell you something. Right now. My voice wavered slightly. Okay, Olivia responded in her characteristically gentle tone. Because I think if I don't say it now, I might lose my nerve. I continued slowly as our lips met. The soft sensation of her kiss almost made me forget what I needed to say. I've been using an app for about a month now. Instantly, Olivia's body tensed against mine. Her breathing seemed to halt momentarily. What? I could hear the hint of worry in her voice. It started as just something casual, I explained, feeling her sharp intake of breath. Surprisingly, though, instead of pulling away, she held me even tighter. I connected with this amazing couple. They're looking to explore new relationship dynamics together. What do you mean by that? Her voice trembled, filled with a mixture of confusion and anxiety. Have you heard of couple swapping? Olivia lifted her face from my chest to look directly into my eyes. Despite the darkness, I could clearly see the emotions swirling in her gaze. Am I not enough for you anymore? At those words, I immediately shook my head, instantly regretting that I'd caused such a misunderstanding. No, that's not it at all, I assured her, gently placing my hands on her shoulders. I could feel her warmth beneath my fingertips. I want to see new sides of you, Olivia. I thought this might actually make our relationship stronger. And I want you to see different sides of me too. I'm scared, she confessed, her honesty resonating deeply within me. I know, and that's completely understandable. But we don't have to rush anything. We could start by just meeting them, just talking at first. Olivia buried her face against my chest without saying anything. I could feel her uneven breathing against my skin. I'll think about it, she finally whispered. That night, we didn't discuss it further. We simply held each other close. I could feel subtle tremors running through her body. I could only imagine how upset she was feeling. I'm sorry, I never meant to upset you. I hated the thought of causing her pain. Before I could finish, Olivia silenced me with a kiss. Her sudden boldness caught me by surprise. You do love me, don't you? Her voice carried both anxiety and a desperate need for reassurance. With all my heart, I answered, looking directly into her eyes. Then just focus on me right now. Her words triggered an intense wave of love that tightened my chest. That night, I loved Olivia more tenderly and attentively than ever before. I tried to experience every sensation more slowly, more profoundly than usual. Each kiss I placed on the nape of her neck contained emotions too powerful for words. Oh, Ethan. The sound of my name on her lips made her even more endearing. The moisture in her eyes caught the moonlight, creating a beautiful shimmer. Love me more, she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion, igniting a fire within me. You're absolutely beautiful. Her skin, bathed in moonlight, seemed to glow with an otherworldly radiance. I fell in love all over again with her timeless beauty. I love you, Ethan. Those words compel me to hold her even tighter. I love you too. We connected more deeply and intensely than ever before. As if confirming our existence to each other, we completely surrendered our bodies and hearts, becoming truly one. An emotional intensity we had never experienced in our decade plus of marriage filled the space between us. I'm yours completely, she whispered, her words setting my heart ablaze. I realized that perhaps this whole proposition had been worth it just for this moment alone. Despite my mixed feelings of anxiety and anticipation about what might come, in that moment I was focused solely on Olivia. Everything about her was precious and worthy of adoration. The next morning, good morning. Olivia greeted me with a slightly shy smile, more bashful than her usual self. The memories of our night together were clearly visible in her eyes. Morning, I replied softly. Neither of us mentioned our conversation from the night before, yet we both sensed that something fundamental had begun to shift between us. Watching her prepare breakfast, I wondered where this new path might lead us. 2 weeks passed without further discussion. During that time, I noticed subtle changes in Olivia's behavior. Sometimes she seemed lost in thought, contemplative. Other times she approached me with newfound boldness. One night in the living room, after our son had gone to bed, Ethan, she spoke suddenly while we were watching TV. Yes, my heart immediately started racing. Are you still talking to that couple? Her voice was calm, but I could detect the underlying curiosity. My pulse quickened even more. During these 2 weeks, I'd maintained only minimal contact with Natalie, not wanting to put any pressure on Olivia. Yes, occasionally, I answered truthfully. What kind of people are they? While pretending to focus on the television, I glanced at Olivia from the corner of my eye. I could sense the seriousness in her expression. They're actually quite similar to us. They have a child too. Their daily struggles and joys mirror our own in many ways. Really, her tone revealed her growing interest. A few nights later, in bed, should we meet them? Her question, coming unexpectedly from the darkness, startled me. In the darkness, Olivia's hand reached for mine. Her touch conveyed a sense of resolution. You really don't have to do this, I assured her, wanting her to have complete freedom in this decision. I know, but I'm curious about what you're feeling. And I'm a little curious myself. Her honest admission made my pulse race. From that conversation until our scheduled meeting, another week passed. During that time, Olivia asked increasingly detailed questions, and we discussed this potential new experience extensively. The morning before our meeting, Olivia stood before the mirror. Wearing a dress that elegantly highlighted her slender figure, she examined her reflection with obvious apprehension. Her glossy dark hair cascaded beautifully down her neck. Usually, she wore it neatly tied back, but today she'd left it flowing freely. With skin so youthful it belied her 40 years, she remained strikingly beautiful. She seemed unusually concerned about her appearance today, when normally she didn't fuss over such things. She turned from side to side before the mirror, scrutinizing every detail. Do I look all right? She asked, her voice laden with anxiety. Standing behind her, I observed Olivia's reflection, the exposed nape of her neck visible above her slender shoulders, and her nervous expression were incredibly attractive. Her graceful 5 feet 5 inches figure had remained unchanged despite the passing years. If anything, age had only enhanced her with a mature allure. You look absolutely stunning. You always do, but especially today, I told her sincerely. That evening, I noticed Olivia sighing as she reviewed messages on her phone. She appeared to be rereading her conversations with Alex and Natalie. Occasionally, she would look up at me and smile shyly. My heart raced whenever Olivia raised her eyes with that vulnerable, anxious expression. Every facet of her emotions was endearing to me. The morning of our meeting arrived. Ethan, I'm so nervous I feel physically ill, Olivia admitted as she applied makeup in front of the mirror. Her hands, working more meticulously than usual, trembled visibly. But Olivia's hands were trembling noticeably. Her reflection in the mirror revealed porcelain-like skin enhanced by subtle, yet precisely applied makeup. The tiny quiver in her fingertips as she curled her eyelashes betrayed her inner nervousness. I couldn't help but admire how meticulously she was styling each strand of hair far more carefully than her usual routine. The elegant curve of her neck, perfectly framed by her flowing black hair, was especially captivating. After trying on 3 different outfits, she finally settled on a deep navy dress. The sophisticated color and refined silhouette accentuated Olivia's natural grace and poise. "Olivia, you look absolutely stunning." At my heartfelt compliment, she offered a shy smile despite the tension of the moment. That gentle expression put me somewhat at ease. Her blushing smile took me back to our first date a decade ago. While driving to the restaurant, I stole occasional glances at her as I gripped the steering wheel. I found myself falling in love all over again with my wife's profile, where the matured allure of womanhood that had deepened over the years now mingled with the unmistakable nervousness about tonight's extraordinary encounter. In the car on our way to the restaurant, Olivia softly asked, "Ethan, am I going to be okay?" Her voice wavered with uncertainty. I responded in the most reassuring tone I could muster, "Absolutely. Just treat it like any other dinner out." Despite my encouragement, Olivia continued clutching my hand tightly. This was our first official dinner with all four of us together. When we arrived at the restaurant, amid an atmosphere charged with both excitement and tension, Natalie greeted us with a welcoming smile. Her first words immediately put us at ease. "I want us to really get to know each other better. There's no pressure to rush anything." On the drive home after dinner that night, Olivia quietly reached for my hand. "I'm not 100% certain yet, but I want to explore this situation further with you, Ethan." I could sense the genuine emotion behind her words. The following weekend, we visited Alex and Natalie's home. As we stepped into their spacious living room, minimalist, yet tastefully decorated with an inexplicable air of solitude about it, Olivia and I felt almost magnetically drawn in. "We'll take things at our own pace," I whispered gently to Olivia. In one corner of the living room, Olivia and Natalie soon became engaged in a private conversation. Even though it was just two women talking, I was overwhelmed by an unfamiliar tension unlike anything I'd experienced before. Alex spoke to me quietly. "We found this whole situation pretty strange at first too, but after actually experiencing partner swapping, studying Alex's expression carefully, I could instinctively tell that he had gained something truly valuable and meaningful through this experience." A little while later, Olivia and Natalie returned together, deep in conversation. This time, Natalie locked eyes with me and extended her hand. "Ethan, follow me," she said, beginning to climb the stairs with graceful movements. As I followed Natalie upstairs, I briefly turned back to catch Olivia's gaze and gave her a subtle nod of reassurance. The moment we entered the bedroom, Natalie and I shared a gentle kiss. It was an entirely different sensation from kissing Olivia. This flood of new feelings and sensations was completely foreign to me. Simultaneously, I couldn't help worrying about Olivia and felt conflicted deep down. However, Natalie took control by gently placing her hands on my shoulders and deepening our kiss. In that moment, my rational thinking seemed to evaporate completely. A powerful thought surfaced in my mind. Nothing else matters right now. Let's just be present in this moment. I confidently pulled Natalie closer by her shoulders and pressed my lips firmly against hers once more. Natalie seemed to intuitively sense the shift in my emotions and surrendered herself to me more naturally. Meanwhile, downstairs in the living room, Alex and Olivia were sharing soft kisses on the couch. Though Olivia was wrestling with her own anxiety and confusion, Alex gently asked, as if reading her thoughts, "You love your husband, don't you?" Olivia responded without hesitation, "Yes." Alex nodded softly, "Just as I love Natalie." He continued with sincerity in his voice, "Of course, she's the most amazing wife I could ever hope for." With those words exchanged, Alex and Olivia's lips naturally met again. This extraordinary night became the pivotal moment that steered all four relationships in an entirely new direction. About 3 months had passed since that night, and our four-person dinner gatherings had become a regular part of our schedules. Surprisingly, the children quickly formed friendships as well, often playing together at the park on weekends and holidays. "Will, over here," our son called out excitedly. "Come on, just a second." The four adults sat side by side on a park bench, watching the children happily playing on the playground equipment. Natalie smiled and remarked, "The kids have really hit it off, haven't they?" I nodded in agreement and said, definitely. Our son has been talking nonstop about wanting to hang out with Will more often. After a while, Alex thoughtfully suggested, what do you think about taking a weekend getaway together? At those words, meaningful glances were exchanged among the four of us. Olivia responded with a slight smile. That sounds wonderful. The kids would absolutely love it too. After speaking, Olivia blushed faintly and glanced in my direction. Natalie added with subtle suggestion in her voice, we could let the kids enjoy the swimming pool during the day and have our own private adult time at night. Everyone immediately understood the implications behind those words, and Olivia nodded slightly to signal her agreement. By now, all four of us could naturally participate in these nuanced conversations. That night, after returning home, Olivia spoke to me quietly. You know, Ethan, I'm really looking forward to that trip. I could see the genuine emotion in her eyes. Through this unique experience, I felt that my relationship with Olivia had grown significantly deeper and stronger than before. We could now communicate openly about our deepest feelings and desires without any barriers. After a moment of silence, Olivia spoke again in a thoughtful tone. Hey, Ethan. I answered yes. She said with a warm smile spreading across her face. I think we're really good together like this. Hearing those words, I slowly nodded with profound understanding and agreement. Perhaps what we truly desired wasn't simply to explore new relationships, but rather a precious opportunity to discover deeper layers of each other's hearts and reaffirm our connection. And now this special relationship was evolving into a profound and meaningful bond shared among all four of us. I responded with heartfelt sincerity. Thank you, Olivia. I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Walking slowly along the street, bathed in soft twilight, we held hands tightly. In my pocket, my smartphone quietly lit up with notifications from our group chat, where the four of us were coordinating travel plans together. Moving forward, we'll continue this journey together slowly but confidently cherishing this special and intimate connection that belongs exclusively to the four of us.